More than 60% of our rivers are too polluted to swim in safely. And while marketing campaigns are based on a country blessed with unlimited fresh water, the reality does increasingly appear different. So what's to blame and how bad could it get? Well, we want to show you. Less than an hour from Auckland, Tristram Clayton found a lake which gives a terrifying glimpse of what New Zealand's waterways could look like if nothing changes. We haven't coloured this in any way at all. A place where clean and green has been replaced by red and dead.
That's stuffed. It's absolutely dead.
It's shocking, really, how we've wrecked it in such a short time.
It's not the sort of thing you're going to fix overnight, and it's not the sort of thing that you might even fix within our generation.
Places like this used to attract a lot of people for picnics and things like that, but you wouldn't let your kids swim in that, would you?
It's just a stagnant, pretty much a stagnant mess.
It is sad. It's just to see it, you know, it was a beautiful lake, and it does hurt. It hurts.
It's spectacular and spooky. A freshwater lake stained blood red from one side to the other. For 45 years, Ian Browning has been coming to Lake Waikare in North Waikato for the duck shooting season. This year, he needn't have bothered.
Last week we came, and I saw 6 ducks in 3 days. They changed from thousands of birds to, you know, single figures just about. It's amazing how they've dropped.
The problem is jaw-droppingly obvious. An algal bloom so bad, it's suffocating an entire ecosystem.
Changed from a lake where there was plenty of birds, plenty of aqua life in it. It was a good place. Now we turned it into a swamp. It's buggered.
Does it make you sad seeing the lake?
It does. Me personally, it does. It's been good to me. You know, it's somewhere to go with the boys, and we've had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs.
And now?
Now, you know, there's not many shooters on to talk to.
Would you swim in it?
I wouldn't let my dog swim in it.
In nearby Te Kaupata, Philip Walters, Walt to those who know him, has just completed another batch of his famous wood-smoked eels. The eels are beauties, big, healthy, plump. Unsurprisingly, none of them came from the lake just down the road.
That's a good eel. That's an eel off Waikare. See the size of its head versus its body? Yeah. See how there's absolutely hardly any meat on it? That's just showing you the condition of these poor buggers on Waikare. They are just starving to death.
Simple as that, they're starving.
Yep. And they've just gradually been getting worse and worse. But the sad part about it is people don't see what's actually happening in the water. They think, oh, the lake's buggered. But, you know, if these were on land, if these were cows or sheep or something, or dogs, someone would be, you know, they'd be punished for that. They'd be in a court for cruelty.
What's going on here?
Yeah, we're just keeping them alive here.
Walt's lived in the village his entire life. As a kid, he used to swim in the lake. Now, the only thing that can survive in it are the koi carp, an introduced pest creating havoc across Waikato.
In years gone by, we'd get blue-green algal blooms, just little patches here and there. But this year, it's been red for like over 4 months, and it's looking like it's going to stay like that, but we don't know.
Have you ever seen it that bad?
Never seen it like that before. Not for that long, that's for sure. Sad state.
Like Ian, there's real emotion here. How could a place of such beauty been allowed to turn so ugly?
What's going on here?
Well, we're not sure at the moment, to be honest. So far, the particular type of algae that they've been looking for that normally have that sort of coloration haven't been found within the samples.
Bruno David says there's no evidence yet the algae is toxic, but isn't ruling it out. He says the algal bloom is the worst he's ever seen, the latest symptom of an ecosystem on the brink.
There are multiple human pressures across the landscape here. You know, you've got quite intensive farming, you've got invasive fish, you have water supply here that's being used throughout the catchment. You're also dealing here with probably multiple decades of legacies of former land use. The effects of actions many decades ago are still manifesting today.
Bruno says there have been some improvements. Point source discharges, such as factories and sewage systems, are no longer the problem they used to be. But progress on those fronts has been totally overshadowed by the much bigger problem of farming intensification and all the nutrient, effluent and sediment runoff that comes with it.
Even if they're only adding a minor contribution, in a lot of cases we need to be thinking about the cumulative pressures that are combining together to cause a problem.
In other words, the lake, like most New Zealand waterways, is suffering death by 1,000 poisoned cuts.
Here at the lake's outlet, the algal bloom is at its most intense. The water here is a deep blood red colour and there doesn't appear to be anything living at all. But it's a bigger problem, and that's what happens when this water containing this algae seeps into the land in the internationally recognised wetlands just down the river.
The Whangamarino wetlands acts like a giant sponge for much of North Waikato. This is great for reducing flooding, but a major liability when the only water that feeds it comes from the ruined Red Sea to the south.
Is enough being done?
I think things are beginning to happen, but it takes a huge amount of time to improve it. Humans generally like silver bullet answers, but that's not how it's going to work here. It's going to take a long graft.
But that's a bitter pill for those praying to see their little piece of paradise returned to its former glory.
We'd like to have it back for our children, our grandkids, to be able to utilise it as a playground like we did. And the only feedback we get about the lake now in our local papers is don't go near the lake, don't get it splashed on you, don't let your animals drink it. It's shocking. There's no easy fix, but there's got to be something better than what we're doing at the moment, that's for sure.
Absolutely extraordinary. Tristram Clayton, reporter. Tristram's with me in the studio because I suspect people will think we put a filter on that or coloured it in some way. So you've brought in 2 samples of water, right?
Absolutely. Well, we actually sent cameraman Billy Payne back down to the Waikato just 2 hours ago. He got back in 20 minutes ago. So here we've just got some tap water.
Yep.
This is from just the TV3 tap. That's your standard Auckland water. 10% of which does come from the Waikato River, remember?
Right.
And here we have some from the lake.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
So I promise you not a frame of that story in any way had any colour correction or colour alteration while we were editing it. That was the true colour. It's bright red. It's a shocker.
It's striking. It's really striking. It's actually appalling. But we don't know what's caused it, right?
We don't, and as we said in that story, even the scientists, the freshwater scientists from the regional council, they've been trying to analyse this water for 2 to 3 weeks now, still do not know what it is, and this is very unusual and quite worrying. Normally you look through a microscope and they can pretty much instantly detect what it is. That hasn't worked so far. Now they're doing DNA testing, so that's obviously taking a little while longer. So this is a first, it's worrying, and they still do not know what it is. There's no evidence yet that it's toxic, but of course you don't want to take that risk. And I noticed when I did some testing for a story that we'll bring in a little while,
so
a follow-up
we've
story.
taken some samples.
We've taken our own samples. They're getting analysed right now. But when I was putting my hand in the water to get those samples, it might be psychosomatic, but I got this crazy sort of tingling rash myself just from touching the water. So not pleasant, not a pretty place.
OK, so the Regional Council are doing tests. We're having tests done.
Yep. And
when we get the results, you will report back?
We'll do a follow-up story. We'll say what's going on there, what that algal bloom is exactly, and how dangerous and risky it might be.
OK, we look forward to finding out what it is, Tristram. That is unbelievable. Look at that. That is extraordinary. And if anyone's watching in parts of the country where they have something similar, we would love to hear from them, obviously. Thanks, Tristram. We look forward to hearing what it is.